I proposed to the woman of my dreams, then found her in adult videos. Would you still marry someone if you saw their deepest secret online?
Chapter 1. The Spark.
I met her on a rainy Tuesday, the kind where the sky just hangs low and gray, like it forgot how to shine. I was late to a coffee shop I never liked, trying to act casual while my hoodie dripped water onto the floor. She looked up from her book, some vintage-looking hardcover, and smiled like she'd been waiting for me her whole life. I knew instantly that I was screwed.
She was older than me, not by decades, just enough to feel it. You know what I mean? She had that quiet confidence, like she didn't need anyone's approval to take up space. Her name was Ivy, green eyes that made you feel seen, and a voice that felt like warm sheets on a winter morning. I made her laugh with a dumb comment about oat milk, and somehow we never stopped talking after that. We fell fast. Too fast, maybe? But isn't that how it always goes when it feels real? I wasn't some lovesick teenager. I dated. I'd had my share of heartbreaks and boring flings. But this felt different. She didn't play games. She didn't do the whole hot and cold dance. With Ivy, everything was raw and real and just open. She made space for me, for all of me. I'd never met someone who made me feel so much and still so calm at the same time. We talked about everything. Childhood scars, weird dreams, our most shameful Google searches. She told me she wanted kids someday. She didn't pretend to be perfect. Hell, she used to wake up before me and make coffee, then climb back into bed just to smell my neck and whisper, "You smell like sleep and promises." How do you not fall for someone like that? She moved in after 4 months, no drama, no big talks. Just one day she was there every night, and I didn't want it any other way. My apartment became ours. She brought books, incense, weird herbal teas. She'd dance barefoot in the kitchen, wear my t-shirts, tease me about my playlists. Sex was amazing. Like, not just the physical part, but how she made me feel like we were doing something sacred, even when it was messy and quick. I remember this one night. We were lying on the floor, staring at the ceiling after a bottle of cheap wine. I told her, "I think I'm gonna marry you one day." She laughed and said, "That's a terrible idea. I'm complicated as hell." But she squeezed my hand like she wanted it too. A year in, I bought a ring. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't make a big plan. I just woke up one Sunday, looked at her brushing her teeth in my shirt, hair all wild and sleepy, and thought, yeah, that's it. That's home. So I dropped to one knee in the middle of our crappy bathroom and said, "Want to keep waking up like this for the rest of our lives?" She cried a lot, then nodded and hugged me like she was afraid to let go. And I thought that was the happiest I'd ever be. I didn't know yet about the videos. I didn't know yet about the things she hadn't told me. But right then, I was sure that love was enough, sure that we were unbreakable. I had no idea what was coming. Chapter 2. The Discovery. It started as a stupid late-night Reddit rabbit hole. I was scrolling through a thread about bizarre job interviews, clicked one link, then another, and before I knew it, I landed on a niche adult site someone had mentioned in the comments. Just curiosity, nothing more. I wasn't even particularly in the mood. I just clicked out of boredom. And then I saw her. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks. The thumbnail was small, blurry, a woman on her knees, chin tilted up, eyes wild. But that hair,
that mouth. That was Ivy. My heart stuttered. I clicked the video. It loaded too fast. The moment it started, I knew. The way she moved, the way she bit her lip, I'd seen it 1,000 times in our bedroom. That was her. No doubt, no lookalike, no maybe. I sat there, frozen. I didn't even breathe, just stared. The video wasn't soft or artsy. It was graphic, intense, not violent, but raw. There were others in the room, 2 men. She was in the center of it all, performing, moaning, smiling at the camera like it was an old lover, like she belonged there. I paused it, hands shaking. Then I found another, and another. It wasn't just one scene. It was a whole profile. Dozens of videos, different settings, different partners, solo, threesomes, even group scenes. And she looked different in all of them. Not ashamed, not drugged, just there. Like she was choosing it. I closed the laptop. I wanted to puke. Ivy. My Ivy. The woman who danced barefoot in my kitchen and cried when I proposed to her. She had done porn. Real porn. Multiple scenes. And never said a word. I couldn't sleep that night. My body felt like it wasn't mine. I kept replaying the scenes in my head, even when I didn't want to. Every moan, every angle, every fake orgasm, or maybe not fake, burned into my mind like a brand. I felt betrayed, humiliated. But more than that, I felt lost. Why didn't she tell me? Why did she hide this part of her life? Was it shame? Or did she think I wasn't strong enough to handle it? Was she ever going to say anything? I tried to rationalize it. People have pasts. We all do. Maybe it was just a phase. Maybe she needed the money. Maybe she regretted it. But none of that helped because I didn't find out from her. I found out by accident, like stumbling into a room I wasn't meant to see. And now I couldn't unsee it.
And the worst part, a small, dark part of me didn't feel disgusted. It felt aroused, curious, turned on. I hated myself for it. I hated that I kept going back, watching more videos, not because I wanted to, but because I needed to understand. Who was she back then? Who was this version of Ivy that could do those things? Look, that confident, that free, that unbothered. She had told me so many things about her family, her dreams, her fears, but never this. And now I didn't know how to look at her the same way. I didn't know if I even should. The next morning, she made me coffee like nothing had changed. She kissed my forehead and sat across from me in her oversized hoodie, scrolling through her phone and humming some indie song I didn't recognize. She looked peaceful, innocent almost. And I sat there, my mind screaming with images of her on her knees, taking someone else in her mouth while moaning like it was the best thing she'd ever tasted. I was going to marry this woman, and I had no idea who she really was.
Chapter 3. The Truth. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to, God, I wanted to yell, cry, ask 1,000 questions. But every time I looked at her, brushing her hair, folding laundry, talking about some documentary she'd seen, I froze. She looked like the same Ivy, my Ivy, but I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. I was scared, not just of the truth, but of what it might do to us. What if it changed everything? What if she had some whole other life I was never meant to be part of? What if I wasn't enough? A week passed, a full week of fake smiles and half-slept nights. I was dying inside, pretending I was fine while her moans from those videos echoed in my head like a soundtrack I didn't ask for. I tried not to act distant, but I know she felt it. She kept asking if I was okay. I kept lying.
Then, one night, I broke. We were watching a movie, some dumb rom-com she picked. She reached over, kissed my shoulder, and whispered, "I love you, you know?" And something in me cracked. I paused the movie, just stared at the screen for a second, heart pounding. "Ivy," I said, not even looking at her. "I saw something." Silence. She sat up slowly. "What do you mean?" I turned to her. "Online. I saw you. In videos. Adult stuff." Her eyes went wide. Just for a second. Then she looked down, breathing unevenly. "Oh." That was it. Just, "Oh." I waited. She didn't speak. "Is it real?" I asked. My voice was shaking. "Were those you?" She nodded. Quiet. Shame blooming across her face like spilled ink. "I was going to tell you," she said finally. Her voice cracked. I didn't know how. "How long ago?" I asked. 3 years, she whispered. "Before I met you. It didn't last long. Just a few months. I needed money, and I was in a really bad place emotionally. I wasn't thinking straight." "But you looked like you were enjoying it," I said before I could stop myself. She flinched. "Because I had to. It was the performance. That's what they pay for." I stared at her. "You were amazing at it." She laughed, sharp, bitter. "Yeah, I know. I hate that I was."
Tears welled up in her eyes. "I wasn't proud of it then. I'm not proud of it now. I don't watch those videos. I pretend they don't exist. But they do, and you found them, and now you probably hate me." "I don't hate you," I said quietly. I don't know how to process it." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I get it. If you want to walk away, I won't blame you. I should have told you from the start. I didn't say anything for a long time. Just sat there, listening to my pulse pounding in my ears. Finally, I asked, "Do you still think about it? Miss it?" She looked horrified. "No! God, no! That girl, that version of me, she's gone. She didn't love herself. She didn't love anyone. I do now. I love you. I want to build a life with you. Kids, a house, boring arguments about dish soap, not cameras and strangers and fake orgasms." I believed her, and I hated how much I believed her. "I'm not perfect," she said, "but I've never lied to you about loving you.
That part's always been real. I took her hand. I know. We sat like that for a long time, her eyes red, my mind spinning. But something shifted in me. A strange peace, like I'd been bracing for a storm that never quite came. I could have walked, could have thrown the ring away, packed her things, burned every memory. But I didn't, because she wasn't just her past. She was my present, and maybe, just maybe, still my future.
Chapter 4. The Shift. Things got better after the talk. Not perfect, but better. Ivy was softer with me. Like she knew she'd cracked something in me and didn't want to press too hard. We went on with life, planning wedding stuff, talking baby names, choosing tiles for a kitchen we didn't own yet. We were still us, but something had shifted. Not between us, inside me. I kept thinking about the videos, not with anger, not even with jealousy, just curiosity. At first, it was passive. I thought maybe if I watched them again, I'd stop obsessing. Maybe I could desensitize myself. So one night, when she was asleep, next to me, breathing slow and steady, I opened my laptop. I watched. 1, then 2, then 7. And I felt aroused. Not disgusted, not hurt. Turned on, completely, viscerally, undeniably turned on.
And that terrified me. It wasn't just Ivy's body or the sex acts. It was the way she looked. Confident, powerful, free. The way men touched her like she was something sacred and wild at the same time. I knew those weren't real emotions. I knew it was a set, a camera, direction, but she still owned the screen. She wasn't some victim. She was fire in skin. And I'd never seen her like that in our bedroom. Don't get me wrong, sex with Ivy was amazing. Loving, passionate, sometimes rough, but never like that. Never that Ivy. And now I couldn't stop wondering, was she holding back? Or had she buried that part of herself so deep that even she forgot where it lived? I wanted to ask her, I really did, but how do you say to the woman you're marrying, hey, remember those gangbangs you did on camera? Would you ever do something like that again, but like, for me? You don't. Because it makes you sound like a creep, a pervert, a man who doesn't deserve the forgiveness she gave you. So I kept it inside. But the fantasies kept growing.
Sometimes I imagined filming her myself. Just her and me, lights, camera, no one else. Sometimes I imagined more. Other men, other hands. I hated myself for it, for even thinking it. What kind of man wants his fiancée to be watched like that, used like that? But the deeper I dug, the more I realized it wasn't about humiliation or disrespect. It was about honesty. Raw, brutal honesty. I wanted all of her. Every version. Even the ones she was ashamed of. I wanted to know what it felt like to touch the part of her that used to belong to strangers. Not to own it, but to reclaim it with her. To make it ours. But how the hell do you say that out loud? Chapter 5. The Confession.
It took me another month. A month of pretending everything was normal while a storm brewed inside me. I tried to push it down, to convince myself it was just a phase, a weird, shameful fantasy that would pass. But it didn't. If anything, it grew stronger. Every time we had sex, I'd wonder, what would she look like if I filmed this? If someone watched? If I wasn't the only one in the room? It wasn't about cheating. It wasn't about not loving her. It was about wanting to see every version of her. The woman I'd seen on screen. The woman I fell asleep next to. The one who cried when I proposed. The one who once moaned for someone else on camera. And so one night, after a couple drinks and a long silence between us, I told her.
We were in bed, the lights off, the room thick with that kind of darkness that makes secrets easier to say. Ivy, I whispered, can I tell you something weird? She shifted, alert. Of course. I've been watching the videos, still. I felt her body tense. She didn't speak. I don't do it to punish myself or you. I can't stop. And I think I finally figured out why. I waited. She didn't move. I don't want you to do porn again. That's not what I'm saying. But I keep thinking about what it would be like if you did something like that just for me. Not public, not with strangers, but that version of you, that raw, powerful, unapologetic version. I think I miss her, even though I never really knew her.
Still nothing. I thought I'd ruined everything. Then she exhaled, slowly, carefully, like she was releasing something heavy. I thought you'd never say it, she whispered. I blinked. What? She turned to face me. Her eyes shimmered in the dark. I've been wondering when you'd admit it. That you were curious. That you wanted more. That part of me, the past me, didn't scare you. That it excited you. I didn't speak. I couldn't. I don't want to go back to that world, she said gently, but I'm not ashamed of who I was. Not anymore. And if you want to see her again, not for the internet, not for money, but for you, just you, she smiled, a little sad, a little wicked, then maybe she's not gone.
My heart raced. She leaned in, kissed me, slow, deep, like she was letting me taste a memory, and whispered, "You can have all of me. The light, the dark, the wild, the wife, the girl on camera. Just don't lie to me. Don't hide." "I won't," I breathed. And I meant it. I didn't know what we were becoming, what kind of marriage we'd have, but I knew one thing for sure. She was mine, and I was hers. All of us.
I forgave her. I still want her. But part of me can't stop watching. What would you do if you were in my place? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what you'd choose.